every Wednesday, and it's going to be, what do you do with the leads? So if you've been working with Brenda and or Paige and they've been sending you lists, now what? What do you do with those lists? How do you convert them? Things like that. So it is a 6-week, and you can join here and there, but it's going to be, a continuation, if that makes sense. So you really, if you want to attend, I would highly recommend you start tomorrow and then, continue them, because it will be an ongoing type of class. It is free to all of our agents. So if you need that information, please reach out to me. We did blast it out, I believe, yesterday and maybe even today again. It's on my Facebook page, so feel free to look that up. And if you have questions, let me know. We also are working on a bunch of CE classes. So even though Gary won't necessarily be here every Tuesday, we will be doing what we can to help you guys out. So thank you again, Gary. This is probably the most important one and definitely the most requested class that you're doing today with regards to Facebook and Instagram. So we appreciate it very much. And for those of you that haven't worked with Gary one-on-one, I would highly recommend you reaching out to him, even if it's just an hour appointment that you schedule with him. Just the other day, I think it was Monday, in fact. How do I do this? I know you taught me and I can't remember. And he answers his phone and walked me, gave me what I needed, and off we were in 30 seconds, but it would have taken me an hour to try to figure it out. So make sure, if you haven't had a one-on-one with Gary, that he can definitely help you with so many different things, that you set that up. That's very important.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Once again, I appreciate Pioneer for sponsoring it and for being such a great community partner with you guys, and being concerned about your success. So it's always great to work with a company that's so supportive as you guys are. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And it's this topic is one that is, we've talked about Instagram a couple of times already. And the reason I kind of saved the stories, I added the stories in as another topic, because it is probably one of the hottest topics right now from an Instagram standpoint. I'm going to cover a lot about Instagram stories. Most everything I'm going to cover also applies to Facebook. So just keep that in mind. And you do have the ability to post from Instagram to Facebook stories as well. So you should be doing that if you're not. But so I'm not going to talk specifically about Facebook, but just know that most everything I'm going to cover today is going to be applicable to Facebook as well. So Instagram stories are an interesting feature, in the fact that so much of what we have done in social media has been long-lived. It's what goes on Facebook stays on Facebook forever. Well, and that's sort of the way all these platforms have been. But with the invention of, or the institution of, the Stories app, it has taken things to a whole different level, in the fact that now there is a sense of urgency in all of your posts, because people know that stories are only a 24-hour, have only a 24-hour life cycle. They go away after the end of 24 hours. So they're prominent in the display of the page, and people know that there is, oh, I got to check that out. So there are some real strategies, and there are some of them are opposite from what we've taught you in the Instagram, specifically in hashtags or some of those things. So so pay attention to some of the things that we're going to talk about here. Instagram stories are one of the reasons they're so important. Is there's 500 million stories users rather that are using stories. So 500 million people are looking at the stories on a daily basis, and out of that, there's 1 billion stories every day. So we're sort of on the we're on the breaking point of stories, and right now it has a lot of reach, a lot of use. I guess I should share my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. Would probably help, wouldn't it? You would think after we've done this for 12 weeks now, I would have this down pat. So 1 billion stories every day. There are 50% of businesses on Instagram create at least one story a month. And businesses say on an average post 10 days per month of stories. So businesses are beginning to pick up on the importance of stories. You know, initially it was just sort of here's what's happening in my world today. But businesses are beginning to see that they can capitalize on use that as well. So when you can utilize your brand for that, that's an important part. Let's see. So get one thing else working here. We go more. So if I make sure I got my chat up in case anybody has any questions. As always, I'm recording this presentation, so it'll be available on the website at the end at about an hour after we're done. So.
And I will check the chat, Gary. I'm just blacking out because I'm moving.
Yeah, no problem. I just make sure I had it up and running where I could see it.
Perfect.
So reasons for realtors to use Instagram and stories specifically, but using Instagram is you don't have to compete with Zillow or Trulia, Realtor.com. It's much easier to get ranked within Instagram. It's a highly visual medium. Real estate buyers are visual buyers. They want to see things. You can message anyone directly, including prospects. So that's another big factor for Instagram. A lot more engagement than Facebook. The hashtags within Instagram are the new search engine optimization. It's a lot easier to get found on the top of Instagram than it is in Google. And plus it actually enhances your Facebook post visibility if you're sharing on Instagram. So Instagram has an interesting algorithm, which we'll probably talk about at a later point, probably when we can reconvene. I'm doing a lot of research on the algorithm that Instagram uses to display content. So when we meet again, I'll probably have some information there on how do you utilize the algorithm and the ranking system within Instagram to be able to maximize that for your own use. What's the difference between the main feed and the stories? Well, you know, you use stories for everyday updates. The main feed is for longer lived content. So anything you post and you want to stay up for a longer period of time, you would put it in a normal Instagram post or Facebook post for that matter, because again, it's going to stick around longer and it's always going to be there if somebody goes to your feed and scrolls through it. Whereas stories are going to disappear after 24 hours. Your feed is much more like your portfolio. So it's more planned, it's more polished, you know, you spend more time on it. Your stories are like everyday life. They're spontaneous. They happen when they happen. So being able to share stories on the fly is one of the things that makes them so attractive. You know, you stop after a listing appointment for coffee and you do a quick story talking about what you're doing, where you've been working, the area you're working on, that type of thing. And that is an excellent way to use of the story. So it's kind of the everyday life type of thing. So your feed is sort of like a store window. The stories are the back room where you get to know the owners, where, you know, or as somebody else said, I think another analogy that I thought was really great was, you know, the feed is your front yard. You know, you keep it immaculate, you keep it nice and clean and tidy. Stories are your backyard. That's where the party happens. That's where the patio is. That's where the pool is. That's where people are playing games and, you know, and enjoying each other. So that's kind of the difference in stories and your feed. So again, we've talked about stories being only 24 hours lifespan. Now you can highlight stories and I'll talk about that. So you can keep them longer, but as a general rule, they're going to expire in 24 hours. But the real purpose, I mean, the real value of it, it's going to build a daily buzz. You can build a buzz for, let's say you're going to be doing an open house. Let's say you have a new listing coming out. Utilizing stories, you can build some excitement for that unveiling, if you will. So coming soon, putting in photos of specific features of a house that you may be listing, and you don't have it quite ready to go on the market, but you can start to build some buzz about it and build some interest in stories on a daily basis. You could do 5 reasons why you need to come to an open house, or 5 reasons why you need to check out this home, or 5 reasons why this community is such a hot property or place to live. So utilizing any kind of avenue like that gives you a good excuse within stories. The 5 reasons, you share one a day for 5 days. Now you've got a buzz going toward that, whatever it is that you're going to be doing. You can share Instagram stories to Facebook stories. I mentioned that already, but it's just a matter of clicking a button. You do your story, you click the button, and it instantly posts it over to Facebook as well. You can post footage of events, provide in the moment entertainment. I mean, anything that you're doing, always think in terms of, is this interesting? Is it something of value, something your clients, your followers would like to see? And if so, take a quick photo, a quick video, post it, and you're done. You can do an Instagram in like 15 seconds. And it literally is that easy if you're going to do video. Now, if you're going to craft some posts, and we'll talk about kind of building the post and then posting them a little later. So we'll talk about that as well. But there again, keep in mind where you are and look for those opportunities to utilize stories. Breaking industry news, that's always a good topic for that. You can preview a blog post if you're doing blogs. You can preview a video that you're doing. So there are a lot of different, ways to use that. Samantha, can you turn your video off? Stop your video. There you go. Thank you. So a lot of different things you can that you can do in preview. So keep that in mind. Again, look for opportunities where you can utilize that, and then mention other companies that you might work with. So there again, if you got a meeting with a roofer or a home inspector, utilize stories to tell to get them noticed. So how do you create a story? Well, stories are they live at the top of your Instagram feed. So there are those little circles at the top. So in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to see a little camera icon, and on that icon, then you tap that, and that will take you into stories. You'll see a little white circle at the bottom, and that will take you to your pictures, or that will take a picture, or you can press and hold that for video. So the way your stories happen is they're going to push you toward video or at least some kind of graphic. So they'll try to take a picture, or like I said, if you want to do a video, now Instagram video clips are 15 seconds in length, but if you press and hold, you can go as long as you want. It's just going to break up each of the segments into 15-second bites. So if you do a minute, if you talk for a minute, it's going to post 4 different 15-second videos consecutively. So when one stops, the next one starts. So they're right there on the top of, at the top of everyone's newsfeed, or the top of their Instagram page. You can also, if you want to create something from scratch or something you already have existing, graphic wise, you just swipe up in stories, and that will pull down your camera, and you'll have all of your camera roll images that you can choose from there. So that's a case where you could, let's say, for example, you were in Canva and you created some graphics, and knowing that you wanted to utilize something like that for your Instagram story. Well, once you save that, or once you create that in Canva, then save it to your phone, get it over on your phone, and then you have it there in your camera roll to be able to use. It's also a good idea to take pictures as you're out and about of anything you might find interesting. the dog, out for a walk, the fire, the mountains and the smoke on the mountains, or anything that you might see that you think could be useful. Take a picture of it, store it in your camera roll. Then all you have to do when you're ready to create a post, you pop in your camera roll, you look through it, you see what's there, and you can then pull it down and use it, and then doctor it with all the different features that you can do with Instagram. So you can swipe up for pre-existing visuals. So here's a couple of little Instagram story hacks or tips, little tricks that you can use. You can use direct messaging. So you can create an Instagram story, and then you can share the story to folks that might be most interested through a direct message. So if you've got people that engage with you, then use the direct message, which is the little airplane icon, and you can send that directly to a list of people that are following you, and say, hey, here's, just thought you might be interested in my, this was a fun little thing that happened. So utilizing direct messages it's kind of like that personal notice that you're sending to people going, hey, I thought about you and just thought I'd take a second and let you know, you might like this. You can add alt text to your post. And so once you create a post, whether it be stories or whether it be a normal post, alt text or alternative text is sort of behind the scene text that you add. But what it does is it gives you extra visibility from Instagram in their algorithm. So what you would do in an alt text is, let's say you've got a picture of a city view from one of your properties, or somewhere you work. So you would go into the alt text, and you would type in there what the picture is. So you're not going to do something in there that's not pertinent or whatever. You're going to do more like beautiful skyline or beautiful city view from the backyard of a foothills home, that's just listed or something like that. So utilizing that description of the photo adds text in there that Instagram can read and talk about what that is. And then it helps them there again, index or plug your post into their algorithm. So utilizing the alt text is a sneaky little way to do things. Tagging people who would appreciate the post. So much like in Facebook, we use the @ sign and we tag people that may be following you. By tagging people in a post that you think would appreciate this, then again, what's going to happen is they're going to see that if they are, again, engaging with you, then there's a good possibility that they will share that post with others, or at least share it onto their feed. So you're getting that extra exposure that we're all trying to do and grow that reach by utilizing the relationship we have with other people. Another thing you can do is comment strategy. So when you post your story, you want to be able to, you don't want to post it necessarily and be running off to an appointment so that okay, I got my story posted, boom, bang, I'm all done. I don't have to worry about it anymore. The cool thing about stories is you want to be able to be there to monitor the thread. So what happens if somebody comments? You don't want to answer them 2 days later. You want to answer them within the first hour of the time that they comment, because if anything later than that, even later in the day, they may have completely forgotten what they commented on. So create a comment thread. So you're basically going to say, I thought about you when I took this photo, or I really appreciate that you liked the photo, and you thought this is really a cool house, and so you know, it's such a fun, it was just such a, you know, fun one to get ready, or, you know, I'm anxious to see it, you know, how quickly it'll sell or whatever you want to say, but you create a comment thread. You're trying to open a dialogue. Remember, social media is about dialogue, not monologue. So all you're trying to do is open a dialogue with that person that commented, and do that for every comment that every person that makes a comment on there. Make sure you utilize that comment thread. And then you can use stories multiple times. You don't have to just let them, you know, let them go by the wayside. Let's say that maybe you post something today, and then maybe Friday you want to go back and post it again. If it's pertinent, timely, post it again. That way, people that missed it the first time may see it again. And then you can utilize a carousel post. What a carousel post is a series of pictures that you take. Now, once again, this would be in a post rather than in a story. But in a story, you can utilize multiple photos and do a similar thing. So what you're doing is you're going to add a series of photos. So let's say you don't want to do a video, but you want to do a series of 4 or 5 pictures, still images of a particular property or of the neighborhood, or, you know, maybe it's a driving into the neighborhood. So you take a photo of, if it's a, you know, something nice about the neighborhood, they've got a, you know, beautiful entrance, a nice landscaped entryway or something like that. So take a picture of that with the community name. Take a picture of a park or a school or, you know, the street. Take a picture from the front of the house, from the street looking into the front of the house. Take a picture at the front door, and then open the door and take a picture inside. So now you've got 4 or 5 pictures that you can put together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a little text on each one. So, you know, driving into, you know, this driving into this neighborhood is such an inviting place for your new home. And, you know, pulling up from the front of the street. Pulling up to the house, you know, you're almost home, be you know, ready to go inside type of thing. You know, this could be your dream home, your forever home, whatever. Open the door and welcome to home. Whatever you want to say, get creative. But what I'm saying is you utilize a series of posts in the same form that you would do on the normal feed through a carousel. And that way you're telling a story through images. A carousel is not like a collage. Catherine asked if it's like a collage post. A collage is where you've made one picture out of several, and they're just one. It's one large image. No, a carousel is a group of photos that scroll through one after the other, so you see the full photo, not just a mashup of all the photos together. A few more story strategies. Share the post, share post to your stories feed. So you create a post in your regular news feed. And then once that's posted, you can click on the little airplane, and then the little airplane at the top will then let you share to stories. So that's how you can take it directly to your stories from your Instagram news feed. Now in that case, it's going to remain in your news feed, and it'll live there forever, but it's going to be in stories too, so that now you have the urgency of people to see it there. I don't know about you guys, but I typically check stories, and I might occasionally scroll down to the feed, but it's so easy to glance through stories and just see what's happening. And there's a little entertainment with it because there's always videos and there's always different things. But I feel like I can scan stories in just a matter of moments, where if I get into the news feed, it's kind of like, you know, falling into the black hole, and you never get to the bottom of it. Now I'll do that. It's not saying I won't do that, but I won't look at the feed. But, you know, for a quick view, stories are what I look at. Once you share it into your stories, then you can tap the writing tool. There's those little row icons at the top. One of them will be the writing tool. You can find a cool color background where you can change the background, then you can add text. You always want to make sure that in stories you add some text over it, because keep in mind, a lot of people may watch a video with the audio turned off. And by default, that's a larger percentage. So you want to make sure you've got something in there that either tells them what's going on, or you use a little sticker that says, turn your sound on so that you can hear, really cool stuff. Turn your sound on. So that's one of the things you do. So you want to try to work and build your brand through your stories and the way they look as well. You can take a screenshot of a comment. If somebody makes a comment in a post or in a comment in stories, then you can take a screenshot of that, save it to your camera, and then go over to your story, pull up an image, paste that over it, put a little, great comment from, Susie, really thank you so much for your, for your great comment. So you have the ability to put just about anything in there that you want. You can post again later in the week. So we already talked about that. Stickers are one of the cool features that's been added recently. And so with stickers, you have several different options for stickers. Stickers will let you, you can do a sticker for physical location. So let's say that you're working in a neighborhood again. Whereas with a hashtag, you might want to use a broader hashtag. In stickers, what you want to use is a location close to you. Now, if you're working in a home, you don't want to put the address of the home, obviously, but put the address of something that's close by. So use a location that's as close to you as you can, as close to what you're wanting to tag as you can. Go narrow. Communities are great. Local restaurants, intersections even. I mean, the more, because here's the thing. So let's say that if somebody is, let's say that the Instagram algorithm, it looks at, and the way it does is it looks at the location, and it goes, okay, well, this location is at, I'll just use an address I used to have, Swan and Sunrise. We'll just, so your address you tag is Swan and Sunrise. So then it's going to look at that and go, oh, okay, Swan and Sunrise. Well, Skyline Country Club is close to that. And Catalina Foothills is, a bigger version of that. And then Pima County, and then, Tucson. So there's an opportunity for you to show up, not just for a tag for Swan and Sunrise, but for Skyline Country Club or La Paloma, and then the Foothills, and then maybe maybe Tucson or Pima County. So you have a lot of different choices there that, again, people might search and find and increase your visibility. So cool little idea with stickers and with locations. Make sure you get narrow, close as you can. Hashtag stickers, on the other hand, should be just the opposite. We talked about in hashtags, we talked about being very, very narrow, just like we talked about with a location sticker. We talked about using three different types of hashtags. We used the broad, the medium, and then the real niche. And then we did that for a very specific reason, because again, we want people to find the broad, the niche, and then go broad. Well, we don't have that luxury for stickers inside of stories, because they're not going to live more than 24 hours. So if you use, a very narrow niche that doesn't get searched very often, may not show up. But it may show up in a broader scale if there aren't that many people using that hashtag at the time. Keep in mind, the more popular the algorithm, then Instagram has to, or the more popular the hashtag or the sticker, then the more choice Instagram has to show people that are searching that hashtag. So that's why, if there are 500 hashtags and you're one of them, well, in stories, you may not show up, or you may show up to a small number, not to a large number. But if there's only 4 or 5 at that time, at that moment, then there's a good chance that yours will be one of those that shows up. There are people out there looking to the search. So you want to be able to make it as easily found as possible. Polls are another really cool way to do things, and it gets people to take action. So with a poll, what you're going to do is you're going to ask them a question, but you're going to have them send a direct message, or you're going to have them respond, and then you can see who responded, and you can send them a direct message. So what you're doing is you're opening up a dialogue. Once again, you're opening that dialogue. So polls are a great way to do that, and I think I've got a slide talking about polls here in a few minutes. You can ask questions, and again, you have a question sticker, so you can use a question sticker, ask questions, and let people respond to you either by answering the question, the choices that you have, or by sending you a direct message. Once again, that's a great way to get that dialogue beginning. So if you want, let's say you want to ask a question that maybe you want to answer in future posts or blogs or whatever, well, ask them a question publicly and then let them send you what they would like to hear or see. Mention stickers are another one that gives you a lot of versatility. A mention sticker is what it sounds like. You're mentioning somebody, you're doing the @ sign and mentioning somebody in the story itself. So there's a sticker that has the @ mention. So I could say, mention Brenda O'Brien, and or I mean, I could Brenda Bauer. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I could mention whoever I wanted to tag in that, and now I've got a it can be a business, it can be a partner, it can be an individual, it could be someone, but they have to, for someone to share, they have to be mentioned in the story. So if I wanted, let's say I wanted to have Samantha be able to share a post, then I could mention Samantha in my post, and then she could then share it. So again, a great way to grow that reach and expand that reach in there. Polls, as we talked about, you can share a photo or video of your story. You can create, or you can either start with a photo, or you can just do a blank screen and start building it from scratch. So with that, if you do a blank work area, you've just got a blank screen. You paste in the you put the color, you put all the stickers in there you want. If you want to add a photo, you can, but all of those are things you can do with a poll. You tap the icon for a poll sticker. So there again, you swipe up, the stickers are up there. You choose the poll sticker. You can enter your question, and let's say 2 potential responses, up to 24 characters, and you can include emojis. And then you let the poll run for 24 hours. That way you give people time to see it. You don't know how long they're, when they're going to see it. So you let it run for 24 hours and then share the results when you're done. You want to make sure, again, you've got another opportunity to touch base with people. So you want to make sure that you share the results with folks so that they'll know they're invested in what they did. They took the time to answer your poll. Let them know what you found. I get a lot of questions on post frequency. How often should I post? In Instagram, in the news feed, and Facebook as well, I typically say less is better, but for stories, more is better. with stories, again, because of the time, you want to try to get people's interest and keep them engaged. You can create a story sequence. You can do a three to 5 or 7 part series. So, you can have a series of 3 or 5 or 7 different different parts of your story. So you're creating 5 to 7 graphics or 3 to 7 graphic pieces, videos, still images, whatever it may be. So you're walking people through that process. Now they need to be interesting enough that people are going to go, wow, this is cool. I want to wait and see what the next, and you can either do them at once, or you can create them over a period of time and say, okay, watch my story tomorrow. Um, so, um, so with that in mind, you can, if you create a sequence and then you can post it with some regularity. Kathy, the best thing to do, probably what you might want to do is give me a call. To kind of see things in action. It's hard to do on my on the Zoom because I've got the slides that I'm using and I can't really tie my phone into it. And everything on Instagram is done on the phone. So what we might be able to do is do some screenshots that way if you want. And but I'll be happy to walk you through it and kind of give you an introduction to it. One of the best things for Instagram, if you're not on Instagram, first of all, go back and watch my first videos, the first in the series that I did on Instagram. It takes you through a series of setup. It walks you through the whole process of setting up your Instagram feed, and it talks about the different parts of it. So look for those. They're going to be on that same link that this video will be posted at the end. The ninjamarketingdojo.com/realtor-training. So check out those videos. And then if you need help, feel free to call me. My information will be at the end. Make sure you put a call to action in your sequence. Put it in post 3. And the reason you want a 3-part series is because stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? So somewhere in the middle of that story, you want, if somebody doesn't follow you all the way through, then you want to be able to still get the call to action that you want. Contact me now, check out my listing, visit my website, sign up for whatever it might be. So utilizing that call to action, you want to make sure you have that in there. Don't assume people will contact you just because, it's like, oh, well, everybody knows to, email me, call me, whatever. Everybody knows they can do that. No, they don't. You have to tell them. One of the coolest things you can do is record what you're going to do, especially if you're doing a story sequence. Record it, save it for later, save it, and then post it later. So you have the time to go back over it, look through it, see if it makes sense, fine tune, update, and then post it. Don't feel like you need to rush and get it done. If you think, I can't do, I definitely can't do a series, but maybe you can do, maybe your posts that you're going to make for the week are going to be general. You just want to make sure you have something out there that's value information. If that's the case, then go ahead and create that, have it ready to go. And then on Wednesday, when you're ready to post it, you just pop into Instagram, go up to your camera roll, you grab what you're going to post, and you pull it down and post it. That way you're not rushed and you don't feel like that you sort of slap something together. You can save stories to highlights. So if you can open a story and then there's a highlight icon down underneath it. When you tap that highlight icon, then it's going to let you put it into albums. So, or you can create a new highlight album. So if you want to, let's say that you're going to do let's say that you're one of your stories categories is talking about property, real estate, and the ideas around that. So when you so maybe you want an album or a highlight album for properties, and maybe you want another one for community activities, and maybe another one you want for just fun stuff. And then maybe another one is, about you. So, you can create different albums, but they stay on your profile so that you can, so that anybody that goes to your profile can see all of the past content. So that's one of the, and that's the way that you save stories so that they don't go away and are lost forever. So you can do so with Barb asks, is there a way to do a one-click call to action, put your contact information in the text position, in the text portion? So in stories, you don't have the ability to do a link until you get to have 10,000 followers. But what you can do, and that's a good question, Barb, thank you. What you can do is you can say, for a preview of, go to my profile, check my profile for a preview of, or check my latest Instagram post for a link to. So what you're trying to do is push them back and forth. You're trying to push them to a place where they have the information that you want, or that you're wanting them to find. So yeah, great question. The other answer is get 10,000 followers and then you can do a swipe up and you get all that. But we're not there yet. A few story tips for you. Use consistent colors and fonts. What do I mean here? It's your brand. You guys that have been on webinars with me every week, can you guess what my colors and my logo might look like? I don't know. Maybe it might have something to do with this thing right here behind me. And why do you see this in every one of my videos? Branding. I use consistent colors. I use consistent fonts. I use my consistent logo. And you want to do the same thing. So just be consistent with your colors and your fonts. You can do multiple scenes. So let's say that you're going to film a sequence of 4 or 3 or 4 videos, 15-second shots. So do a 15-second shot with you looking, with it to the left of your face, and then maybe the next one, and maybe to the right, and then maybe you change scenery so that you're a different background. All you're wanting to do is changing the camera angles so that when you do that, now you've got something interesting. You've kind of got multiple scenes, and it's kind of like, ooh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of like watching a video. So change camera angles. That's a great way to do that. Now that's why you would want to do each segment, if you're going to do like I said, a minute video, rather than hold and record them all at just consistently and let Instagram do the break. Create them one piece at a time, and that requires a little more content because with Instagram, you can't change camera angles. It's like I said, you're just going to have to move, and it's going to look it's going to go, woo, there's this all of a sudden quick movement. So you do them in seconds, but it does make you have to think through the process and create a kind of what you're going to say in 15 seconds in each 15-second burst. Does that make sense? Design for sound off and sound on. So make sure you've got your sound, you've got text on top of it, so it covers the folks that are watching, not listening. Engage viewers with emotions. So you can use curiosity, empathy, excitement, outrage. If you can invoke emotion, you're going to get people's attention. You're going to get them to buy into what you're doing. So again, think of ideas and tips that let you pull in those different aspects. Limitations. Let's see here. Actually, I'm going to skip through this slide. I think I was meant to pull that out. So I think so. That's most everything I have. I know it's quick, and I know that if you're not used to stories, there's a lot there. All I would recommend you do is play with stories. Try it out. Just do a quick story with just take your face and just, hold the camera and go, "Hey guys, just, letting you know, I'm just playing around with Instagram stories and, trying to get the hang of it. So, hope you guys, bear with me, or, hey, here's a new house that I'm just fixing to list, or, just showing this. It's got some real cool stuff. What do you think about, uh, just play with it. Don't worry about people going, laughing or going, wow, you really botched that one. They expect stories to be casual. They expect them to not be polished, not be a Academy Award winning presentation. So utilize stories and just give them a try. It's the easiest way to learn them. There are tons of features in stories. You can really draw. I mean, you can draw things on there. You've got a ton of graphic capabilities in there. There's a ton of filters and all that. And the best thing to do is play with them. And when you play with the filters, and maybe one day I'll do something on some of the filters and some of the aspect, maybe I can do a screen record from my phone and actually go through that process. So, but like I said, the best thing to do is play with it and learn how to do that. As always, my contact information is here. If you need help, reach out to me. There's my phone number. There's my email address. My websites are here. And as always, the replay will be at ninjamarketingdojo.com/realtor training. I'll try to have it up by 3:30. I've got a client at 3:30. So if I don't get it up by then, check it later on today. It'll be up today. And one more thing, if I would ask you guys, especially those of you that have been on my webinars and have sat through, these last 12 weeks of workshops and webinars and tricks and tools and all the kind of different thing we've done. If you found that helpful, if you've used some of that, then I would really appreciate a review from you guys. If you want, Google reviews are great. And so if you find that useful, you can, if you're logged into Gmail, you got a Gmail account, you can log into g.page/800biz-ninja-marketing, or you can just do a search for 800biz Ninja Marketing. You'll find me. But Google reviews are wonderful, and I would greatly appreciate those. So anybody else have any questions? Feel free to let me know. Once again, I enjoy doing these workshops. I really look forward to sharing, and I'm always watching and looking at topics and things other gurus are doing and things like that, and going, oh, that'd be cool. My guys need to know about that. So keep those in mind. And if you have any questions, once again, thank you guys, Pioneer. Thank you, Brenda, Paige, and Samantha, for your support and for you having me come in and do these. So,
thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
thank you guys. Paige, you want to add anything? We missed you in the beginning. Susan, go ahead and ask your question, and then Paige, we missed you in the beginning. Do you have anything you want to add to
Yes. No, I had to come in a little hot. I've had back-to-back signings and a trip to the bank and all sorts of craziness for end of month, but I'm grateful for it. So excited to have so much positive and so much business going on. We're here to support you at all levels, including the closing table. So I love our list of participants. So happy to see some new faces on here today. If you haven't joined Samantha's private Facebook group, don't forget that's a resource for other classes that we've had on Instagram. I noticed some of our participants, it is overwhelming, and we have to rewatch videos over and over again to get used to this, but we're taking baby steps and accomplishing things at a decent pace. So we're here for you, and very nice to see everyone.
Yep. Susan, you have a question? Go ahead and type your question here in the chat box, and I'll see about answering that before we sign off. While we're doing that, while I'm waiting on her, if you guys have, if you've got ideas for anything that you would like to go back over or like to see in the future, feel free to reach out to me and send me those topics, or you can give it to Brenda or Samantha or Paige, any of them. But if you've got a specific topic you would like to hear or see, then let me know what those would be, because I'm always putting that information together. And I've got some more topics that we've talked about doing. We've talked about doing some things for, we've talked about doing some things about Facebook ads. We've talked about doing a review of Facebook, some of the things you need to do from a standpoint of
Gary, I heard that Facebook ads are where it's at right now. So many companies have pulled back from Facebook ads that it's like open season. It's a great place to be advertising.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of competition, and the prices. I haven't looked at the price from a realtor standpoint, but it can be but it has some real value. So I know a lot of folks are using that. So again, that was a topic that we were talking about doing. So that's probably one we'll do early on when we restart. So thank you, Paige, for reminding us. Susan, Canva has built-in templates that are the correct size for both Facebook and Instagram. So there is a training on that I did on Canva. So if you want to watch that video, if you didn't see that training, it's still, again, it's on the Realtor-training page. So that would be, that's a place where you can go and start there. And then if you need help, but all you need to do is go into when you go to
I think
templates.
you have another question, Gary.
Yeah. So when you go into the templates, you'll see the ones that are, that they have the pre-built ones, and you just pull it up and you can either build from scratch, or you can plug in, use one of theirs and just sort of doctor it up. The website, Susan, is the one listed on the screen here. So it's the one right here on the screen, ninjamarketingdojo.com/realtor training. Catherine, yeah, so I'll try to do that when we do something. The next one, when I try to do some future ones when we crank back up, or maybe if we do something in between on a one-off type thing, then I'll try to do what I have to do is I have to tie in my phone to the screen so I can record, because it's too hard to do it live and conduct a webinar while I'm working on my phone and trying to walk you through the mobile processes of that. But and that's the reason I don't do that with Instagram. It's difficult. I can do some things with Facebook. So, but what I'll do is I'll do a screen record of my phone fed to my desktop, and we'll figure out a way to get it done. But that is a good idea to do that. And I really thought about that, but I just didn't really have the way to pull that together right now. So watch for that. Come back for the new season coming in August, or whenever we can do this again.
Well, then we'll have some the business pages and stuff in the interim, so we're ramped up for it, Gary.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Have a great rest of the week, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
First almost.
Holiday weekend. Enjoy and be safe.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Happy barbecuing.
Yes.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.
Yeah. Does this look familiar?